Hello and welcome to this Come to Jesus Daily devotional as we continue in the book of Ephesians. And today's devotional is entitled Husbands, Love Your Wives. Yesterday we looked at that challenging idea of wives submitting yourselves to your husbands. But today, from Ephesians 5:23 to 30, let's consider how husbands are to imitate Christ in marriage. Let's read from Ephesians 5:25 to 30. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. In this same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. After all, no one ever hated their own body, but they feed and care for their body, just as Christ does the church. For we are all members of his body. That's Ephesians 5:25 to 30. So firstly, husbands, love your wives. Just as the wife is called to choose to submit to her husband, the husband is also commanded and is to choose to love his wife after the example of Jesus. Now we should recognize that although the word submit may seem like a hard calling, and I can understand it is a challenge, it's an equally high calling and a demanding calling that is placed upon the husband. In the original Greek, Paul writes about 40 words regarding the wife's submission, but around 115 words are written to the husband about sacrificial, Christ-like love. So the main challenge and emphasis of this passage falls on the husband. Will they love and lead sacrificially, or will they abdicate responsibility, become passive or be harsh, or allow their wives to carry the weight of leadership? It's also important to notice that this passage does not explicitly command, you'd be surprised to notice, right? It doesn't command the husband to lead their wives, but rather they are commanded to love their wives. They do lead, but they lead through love. If sacrificial love remains at the center, the question of leadership will usually take care of itself. After all, what wife would not want to follow a husband who genuinely seeks to love her as Christ loved the church, as he seeks to follow Jesus? Secondly, love your wife as Christ loved the church. Husbands are to model their role on Jesus' relationship with his church. Just as Christ gave himself up for her, so a husband's leadership must be characterized by self-giving love. This does not mean mutual submission. Although Jesus served the church and died for her, he was still her Lord. Likewise, self-giving love on the part of the husband does not reveal his role and responsibility to lead in love in his marriage. Christopher Ash writes these words: the male chauvinist may have been cheering at verses 22 to 24, in which the wives are told to submit. Now, at last, they say, she will treat me as I deserve, he thinks, waiting on me hand and foot, generally being subservient to make my life easier. Not a bit. The model for the husband is the way Christ treats his church, which is to give himself up, even to death, for her. Not only is he not to be harsh with her, as we see in Colossians 3:19, a peculiar male tendency. On the contrary, he is to love her whatever it costs him. The shape of marriage for the husband is the shape of the cross. The crown given to the husband is a crown of thorns. That's Christopher Ashe, Married for God. What a great reading there. So in response, if sacrificial love remains at the centre, the issue of leadership will usually take care of itself. If we are husbands, we must ask ourselves these searching questions. Am I selfish? Am I self-giving? Do I seek to nurture my wife and my family proactively? Am I praying sacrificially for them? Am I praying with them? Are we seeking to lead our loved ones toward Jesus? Do we avoid needless wastes of time and resources, choosing instead to invest wisely in what truly matters? When we face major decisions, right, changes of job, home, location, are we leading well? When there's a disagreement, do we lead with gentleness, patience, humility, seeking unity and consensus through love, prayer, and faith? Let's finish with these words that I read earlier from Christopher Ashe, which are actually a quote from C.S. Lewis. Husbands, if we're given a crown, the only crown given to a husband is a crown of thorns. May we wear it well. God bless you.